Nutrition Assignment 1 by Liam Difford. There are 3 macronutrients, and these are split into carbohydrates, lipids or fats, and protein. The chemical structure of carbohydrates is that they are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in the formula C6H12O6, and carbohydrates can be split into 3 further categories, which are monosaccharides, disaccharides and polysaccharides, and this essentially means the amount of chains that they've got. For example, monosaccharide is 1 chain, disaccharide is 2 chains, and poly means many or more than 2. Fat structure. They are split into 3 categories again, which are saturated, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Fats are made up of a long carbon chain which are connected by a hydrogen atom at the end, and the terms unsaturated mono and polyunsaturated refer to the amount of hydrogen atoms connected to the tail of the chain. Protein structure. Protein is made up of 20 amino acids, 9 of which are considered to be essential, that we need to get in our diet, and 11 of which are considered to be non-essential, which can be created by our bodies. Amino acids are similarly to carbohydrates, are made up of carbon and hydrogen atoms. The only difference, however, is that they are also made up of a nitrogen atom, which is what makes it into an amine. Protein is very hard to break down, which is caused by the nitrogen atom. Carbohydrates function, the primary source of muscular energy within the body, and breaking that down even further, monosaccharides are used for short, high-intensity exercises, disaccharides are used for medium-length, mid to high-intensity exercises, and polysaccharides are used for long-term, mid to high-intensity exercises. Also, carbohydrates are used for brain functionality and general central nervous system functionality. Function of fats or lipids in the body is that it's a low intensity energy source which provides high amounts of kilocalories per gram. The absorption of fat soluble vitamins which need to be absorbed into fat, so without fat they wouldn't be able to be absorbed, and it's stored for future use, i.e. for future physical activity, and the maintenance of body temperature is also very important, so it's stored within our skin, which then provides our body with warmth. Protein function is mainly used for muscle repair. It's also used for muscle maintenance. For example, muscle repair and muscle maintenance, for example, when you go to the gym and do heavy reps, it will tear the muscles, which then need to be repaired, and this is what protein will be used for. It is a last resort energy source within the body. It does provide fairly good calories per gram, but as I said, it is very hard for the body to break it down, so it doesn't use it unless it has to. It's used for catalysis within the body, which is general chemical reactions that occur. It's a catalyst within these. Healthy sources for carbohydrates are fruits as opposed to fruit juices, which provide more fibre and less sugar than fruit juices. Beans or legumes, which provides healthy amounts of protein as well as good amounts of carbohydrates. Vegetables, which are very low in sugar but high in carbohydrates, so that's good. Whole wheat pasta, which is more nutritious than white. Wholemeal bread, which is more nutritious than white. Healthy sources of fats. Avocados, they have high amounts of monounsaturated fats, so within moderation they are good. They lower high cholesterol as well. Eggs also have a healthy amount of protein with them, so they're very good, and they're mainly full of unsaturated fats. Nuts have high protein and fibre content as well as a good amount of fat, good fats as well. Oily fish, which is full of omega-3 acids. Olive oil, which reduces the risk of heart disease and high blood pressure. Healthy protein sources, eggs again, they contain all 20 of the amino acids needed by the body, so they're very good. Soya, which lowers cholesterol and lowers the risk of heart disease. Pork, which is high in leucine and is used for muscle recovery. Oily fish again, which is high in protein and low in saturated fat. Chicken and turkey, or lean meats, which is high in protein, low in saturated fat if the skin's removed. Micronutrients, they are split into 4 sections, which are water-soluble vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins, and macro and micro minerals. Water-soluble vitamins can not be stored within the body, and we need to intake these as part of our daily diet. Fat-soluble vitamins can be stored in the body if there is sufficient fat in the body. They're not needed every day, but they are still taken in through our diet. And minerals are split into macro minerals and micro minerals, which mean the amount that you need. Macro means large and micro means trace amounts. Vitamins function. Vitamins are needed for every process that occurs in the body: chemical reactions, muscle contractions, muscle relaxation, growth control and maintenance. Fat-soluble vitamins function. Vitamin A is used for maintaining healthy skin, bones and vision. It promotes new cell growth and it's used in the creation process. Vitamin D helps with the absorption of calcium and maintaining a strong immune system. Water-soluble vitamins. Vitamin C enhances the absorption of iron within the body, and it also supports healthy bones and teeth. Vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, helps to break down carbohydrates within the body and convert them to energy. It can also support and improve the immune system. Minerals function, mainly used for muscle contraction and relaxation, to stop spasms or twitches, growth control and maintenance, and it supports catalysis within the body. Microminerals function. Iron is used in the production of red blood cells. It helps the red blood cells to absorb the oxygen and then travel this around the body. And energy metabolism, which is how your body converts food to energy. Iodine, which is used in growth regulation and the production of the thyroid hormones. Macrominerals. Calcium is used in muscle contraction and relaxation, maintaining healthy bones and teeth. And magnesium is used in the process of creating protein and absorbing protein in the body, and it's also useful in the functionality of the immune system. Fat-soluble vitamin sources. For vitamin A, you can get them from carrots or sweet potatoes. Vitamin D is egg yolks and tuna. Water-soluble vitamin sources. Vitamin C, citrusy fruits, leafy vegetables as well as broccoli. Vitamin B1 thiamine is from red meats such as pork and eggs. Micromineral sources. Iron can be found in poultry, so turkey, chicken, and egg yolks. Iodine can be found in bread and general dairy products. Macromineral sources. Calcium can be found in milk or fortified milk or dairy-based products and broccoli. Magnesium can be found in green vegetables, for example green beans, peas, broccoli as well, and nuts and seeds are high in magnesium. RDA stands for Recommended Daily Allowance. For the general population, the RDA is 50% carbohydrates, 35% fat and 15% protein, and this was invented to be applied to around 98% of the population. So it doesn't take into account elite athletes and people with illnesses that obviously can't eat certain foods. I was then tasked with working out the recommended daily allowance for 3 different athletes, and the first one is a 50+ veteran female runner, and I've said that the RDA for her would be 40% carbohydrates, 40% fat and 20% protein. I would suggest more fat because it's a low intensity energy source, and marathon running is considered to be low intensity and long duration, so fat is the best source of energy for that event. High carbohydrates still, because the body needs carbohydrates to function, and high protein for muscle contraction. And the micronutrients that a veteran marathon runner might need in excess are iron, pyroxidine and pantothenic acid, which all tend to help with oxygen regulation within the body, so getting oxygen to the muscles that need it, and muscle contraction. For an under 19s male boxer, the RDA that I've suggested is 40% carbohydrates, 20% fat and 40% protein. The reason I've said this is because boxing is a high intensity, mid duration sport, so carbohydrates are going to be needed in high amounts, There's going to be a lot of muscle work that they'll be working on, and their muscles are going to be working tirelessly during their fights, so high amounts of protein will be essential for repairing and maintaining these muscles. Micronutrients that under 19's male boxer would need in excess are riboflavin, iodine and pantothenic acid, again general for muscle contraction and relaxation, stopping spasms, etc. For a 25 to 35 year old rugby player, male or female, I've got the recommended daily allowance as 35% carbohydrate, 30% fat and 35% protein, because of the fact that a rugby game is high intensity at times but is also mid to low intensity at times as well. So general average amounts of carbohydrates, fat and protein would be necessary, but higher than average protein, because a rugby player is going to be doing a lot of muscle work in the gym to build strength and power, and protein will support this. Micronutrients that a rugby player would need in excess are magnesium, thiamine and again pantothenic acid. There are several micronutrient deficiencies that can be spotted. For example, an iron deficiency can lead to anemia, and ways to spot this are if somebody has a pale complexion, show general signs of drowsiness and have a shortage of breath when performing simple activities such as walking up the stairs. The ways in which anemia would affect athletic performance is that it affects the body's ability to work, which then obviously will have a negative effect on performance, because the body can't do as much work, then it won't be able to push itself as hard and it won't perform as well. A calcium/vitamin D deficiency can lead to rickets. I put vitamin D as well because you need vitamin D to absorb calcium, so it's no use having just one and not the other. You need a good amount of both of them. And ways to spot rickets or early signs of rickets are if the person shows fragile bones, easy fractures, skeletal deformities, as in being bow-legged, and poor growth or stunted growth. And bone fractures and deformities can affect performance. For example, if a rugby player has fragile bones, they're going to be suffering from a lot of fractures, which will affect their game and make them injured often. A zinc deficiency in severe cases can lead to anorexia. Ways to spot this are significant weight loss if the person is losing too much weight too fast, alopecia, so losing a loss of hair, and in severe cases it can lead to nerve damage, which is unrepairable. Anorexia can have detrimental effects on performance because if a person is anorexic, they're not getting the nutrients that they need, and performing at high intensities without getting sufficient nutrition is very dangerous. Okay, lastly, looking at the female athlete triad, this is an eating disorder or a psychological disorder that female athletes primarily in aesthetically pleasing sports, for example gymnastics and distance running, become obsessed with their appearance, and they generally stop eating because they want to look good, and they feel that the skinnier they are and the smaller they are, the better they perform. Severe cases of malnutrition can lead to osteoporosis, so brittle bone syndrome, anorexia, bulimia, any sort of eating disorder can come from it, and delayed puberty, which is prevalent in youth gymnastics at the Olympics. It can be beneficial for performance, but for performance only, because it doesn't do any good for the body. However, it can have fatal side effects for the athlete, and the example that I've found is Chris Henrik, who was a young gymnast who showed a lot of promise prior to contracting anorexia, and she unfortunately died weighing 52 pounds due to multiple organ failure after spending years in hospital trying to fight the female athlete triad. Thanks for listening.